English time of Teacher Muriel. It is English time of Teacher Muriel. Hey!
Good day, eager learners. This is Teacher Maria, a pre-service English teacher. Today, we are going to step into the world of English and see how language plays an important role in our daily lives. For today's lesson, we will explore something we see every day on TV, on social media, and advertisements, but we often do not notice deeply. But before anything else, let us first start with a prayer. Dear Lord, bless this time of learning. Grant wisdom to those who teach and understanding to those who learn. Guide every mind to be attentive, every heart to be open, and every spirit to be willing. May this lesson bring knowledge, growth, and goodness to all. Amen. Now, are you all ready? Kindly settle down, everyone. Listen attentively. Get your ballpens and notebooks ready because today we are going to dive into a very interesting topic. Have you ever wondered why advertisements are so convincing? Why do we easily remember taglines? Or why do we sometimes believe what celebrities say? Well, today we are going to uncover the secrets behind those messages. Let's begin with a fun game. I call this game Your Tagline Sounds Familiar. How to do the activity? I am going to show you a tagline from a television commercial. You are going to guess in which commercial does that tagline belongs. Are you all ready? Let's start off with number 1. The first tagline we have is "It's finger licking good." In which commercial do you think does this tagline belongs? Yes, that is KFC. For number 2, we have is "We find ways." What is your guess? Correct! That is a commercial from BDO. For number 3, we have is the very classic tagline, which is "Ang sarap ng feeling mo." So, can you recall in which commercial does this tagline belongs? Good job! That is a tagline from the commercial of Rebisco. Now, let's move on to the number 4 tagline, which is "Nakasisiguro gamot ay laging bago." What is your guess for number 4? Perfect! That is Mercury Drug. Now, let's have the last but not the least, the number 5, which is, I think, very common to everyone. So we have this tagline, "Bida ang saya." So in which commercial do you think does this tagline belongs? Of course, you really are familiar with this tagline. "Bida ang saya" is a tagline of Jollibee. Good job, good job, good job. You really are familiar with those taglines. Now, let us think deeper. Reflect with these questions. What do those taglines make you feel? Do they give complete information about the product? How do they influence your choices as a consumer? Exactly. Those taglines are not just words. They are designed to influence us. And that brings us to today's topic, which is all about propaganda techniques. But before we delve into our topic for today, let's have first our learning competency and learning objectives. Our learning competency for today's lesson is analyze extensions of words or expressions used in propaganda techniques. And our learning objectives are: first is to identify the different types of propaganda techniques Second is to analyze taglines, images, and situations and classify them into their corresponding propaganda techniques. Third is to demonstrate critical thinking by actively participating in discussions and questioning messages. And the last one is to practice caution before believing or sharing information seen in media. Are you ready to become smart and critical viewers? Let's begin. Let us first define what is a propaganda. So, what really is a propaganda? So, a propaganda is a dissemination of information, whether facts, arguments, rumors, half-truths, or lies, to influence public opinion. Propaganda is a careful spread of information, ideas, or messages, whether true, partly true, or false, used to influence people's opinions, emotions, or decisions. Propaganda is not always completely false. It often uses emotions rather than facts to persuade people. It is commonly found in advertisements, political campaigns, social media posts, or news or public messages. So in simple terms, propaganda is a way of convincing people to believe or to do something. Like for example, you're running for a political position during an election. And in your political poster, you highlighted the best qualities that you have that will convince the voters to vote for you. So that is an example of a propaganda. Another example is that you are selling a product. And in the label of your product, you highlighted the best qualities of that product that will persuade the buyers to buy that product instead of the others. So that is also an example of a propaganda. Again, propaganda in simple terms is a way of convincing people to believe or to do something. Now, let's move on the different types of propaganda techniques. There are many different types of propaganda techniques, but today we are only going to focus on the 5 of them. The first type of propaganda technique that we are going to tackle today is all about name calling. So, what is name calling? So, name calling is about trash talking another product or person. This is to make us reject and condemn a person or idea without examining what the label really means. Name calling is a propaganda technique that uses negative words, labels, or insults to attack a person, group, or idea. Like for example, instead of providing facts about their product, they use bad words or negative descriptions about the competing brand to make the audience dislike or reject that product immediately. I have here a few examples of the name-calling propaganda technique. First, we have is this image with a caption, Big Mac seems more like a medium. So this statement mocks the competitor's product by implying that it is smaller than expected. Instead of providing a factual comparison about their product, they use sarcasm or negative labeling to make the audience think less of the rival brand. The second example we have is this image with a caption, the 2 biggest threats to America, with a picture of Trump and one senator. So this ad uses strong negative labels like worst and most corrupt without providing evidence. So this encourages the people of America to reject these individuals emotionally rather than evaluating facts. And the third example we have is this image with a caption, how do you like your chicken noodle? With MSG, with a picture of one product, or without, with a picture of another product. So this suggests that the competing brand consists something harmful, which is the MSG, creating a negative impression. It attacks the other product rather than simply promoting its own. So, those are a few examples of the name-calling propaganda technique. The second type of propaganda technique is the glittering generalities. So, glittering generalities, this is the use of words or ideas that evoke a positive emotional response from an audience. Virtue words are often used. Glittering generalities is a type of propaganda technique that uses positive but vague words or phrases that sound good but do not have clear meaning. So these are words that sound attractive but are not specific. They appeal to emotions like hope, pride, or happiness, and they are mostly used in slogans or advertisements. So in simple terms, glittering generalities is a type of propaganda technique that uses positive words to appeal to the emotions of the audience. Now, let's move on to the examples of the glittering generalities types of propaganda technique. First we have here is the advertisement of McCafe that says creamy, dreamy, icy, chocolatey. So these are pleasant and appealing words, but it does not give specific details about the product. They make the drink sound attractive by appealing to the senses and emotions of the buyers. Second example we have here is the slogan of Coke that says things go better with Coke. So this slogan suggests that Coca-Cola improves any situation, but it does not explain how or why. So it uses a general positive idea to create a good feeling about the product. And the third example we have is the slogan of Starbucks that says the best coffee for the best you. Words like best are powerful but vague. The statement connects the product to the personal improvement without proof, making it emotionally appealing rather than factual. Now, with those examples, do you already understand what is a glittering generalities type of propaganda technique? Very good. Now, let's move on to the third type of propaganda technique. The third type of propaganda technique that we have is the testimonial. So, testimonial, this technique uses famous people or respected individuals to endorse a product, idea, or candidate. Testimonial is a type of propaganda technique where a famous person, celebrity, or expert endorses a product or idea. So people tend to trust the individuals they admire. The persuasion comes from the popularity and credibility of that specific person. It does not guarantee that the product is actually good, but since a famous person endorses it, then other people will also be influenced to buy that specific product. So that is the testimonial type of propaganda technique. I have here a few examples of the testimonial type of propaganda technique. We have here Taylor Swift for Coke, Liza Soberano for Pantene, and Alvin Richards for Head and Shoulders. So people admire them. So they may trust the product because the person that they admire endorses that specific product. The persuasion comes from the popularity of these individuals rather than on the quality of the product itself. So with that examples given, do you already understand what is a testimonial type of propaganda technique? Very good. Now, let's move on to the next one. The fourth type of propaganda technique that we have is the plain folks. So, what is a plain folks? So, plain folks is a way that a speaker convinces an audience that an idea is good because they are same ideas of the vast majority of people like yourself. Plain folks is a type of propaganda technique where a person presents themselves as ordinary and relatable to common people. This is mostly used by politicians and leaders. They act simple to gain trust and connection, and the goal is to show that I am just like you. So, if you are going to advertise your product using the plain folks technique, then you need to see to it that your advertisement is relatable to common or ordinary people for you to be able to convince them to buy that specific product. Now, let's move on to the examples. The first example we have here is the advertisement of Nescafe that says, "Para kanino ka bumabangon?" This campaign connects with everyday people by showing real-life struggles and motivations. It makes the brand relatable by focusing on real-life experiences. The second example we have here is the advertisement of Ariel that shows a mother doing the laundry. So the ad shows a typical household scenario, making it relatable to common people. It builds trust by presenting real-life situations that the viewers can connect with. So those are the examples of the plain folks type of propaganda technique. Am I clear with that one? Very good. Now, let's move on to the last type of propaganda technique that we are going to tackle today. The last type of propaganda technique that we are going to tackle today is the bandwagon. So a bandwagon is a specific type of propaganda advertising technique that tries to get the target audience to jump on board so as not to miss out on what everyone else is doing. Bandwagon is a type of propaganda technique that encourages people to do something because many others are already doing it. It creates a pressure to join in the crowd. It suggests that popularity is equal to correctness, that since many people are already doing it, then it must be the right thing to do. And it uses fear of missing out or the FOMO. That is the bandwagon type of propaganda technique. I have here two examples of the bandwagon propaganda technique. First example we have is the iPhone 5 that says, "Loving is easy, that's why so many people do." Second example we have is the Oral-B that says, "Over 1 million Australians have already tried." So in these examples, by emphasizing the large number of users, it pressures others to follow. It appeals to the idea that if many people use it, then the quality of the product must be good. So that is the bandwagon type of propaganda technique. Am I clear with that one? Very good. Now, we are going to wrap up the things that we had discussed today. So the first one is the propaganda. So what again is a propaganda? So a propaganda is a way of convincing people to believe or to do something. And today, we discussed 5 types of propaganda techniques. We have the name calling, glittering generalities, testimonial, plain folks, and bandwagon. Let us first start off with the name calling. So name calling, once again, is the use of negative words, labels, or insults to attack a person, group, or idea. Second one we have is the glittering generalities, in which it is all about using positive words to appeal to the emotions of the audience. The third one we have is the testimonial, wherein a famous person, celebrity, or expert endorses a specific product. The fourth one we have is the plain folks, in which it is all about relating to common or ordinary people. And the fifth one we have is the bandwagon, in which it is all about encouraging the majority to do something because many others are already doing it. So those are the things that we had discussed today. Now, since we are done with our discussion, we are going to have an activity. You are going to apply what you have learned. I call this activity Match It Out. So I am going to show you a picture of an advertisement or commercial. You are going to match in which type of propaganda technique is used in that picture. Are the instructions clear? Very good. Now, let's begin with number 1. We have this picture for number 1. What do you think is the technique used in this picture? Very good. This is testimonial because this was endorsed by the famous footballer Cristiano Ronaldo. Very good. Now let's have number 2. What do you think is the type of propaganda technique used in this picture? Very good. This is glittering generalities because of the words such as magic eraser, extra powder. Very good. Now let's have number 3. What do you think is the type of propaganda technique used in this picture? Very good. This is bandwagon because it is stated that 57% said yes, that they will vote for Clinton as president. Very good. Now let's have number 4. What do you think is the propaganda technique used in this picture? Very good. This is name calling because this provided an insult to the competing brand. Very good. Now the last one we have number 5. What do you think is the technique used in this picture? Very good. This is plain folks because this provided an ordinary experiences of an ordinary family. Very good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Who got 5 over 5? Wow, very good. You really have learned our lesson for today. Now, let us test your understanding. Get your ballpens and notebooks ready for we are going to check whether you really understood the lesson. I will flash a situation here on the screen. You are going to answer on what propaganda technique is used in each situation. I will give you a few seconds to answer, then we will proceed to the next question. Are my instructions clear? Perfect. Let's begin with number 1. For number 1, we have this situation. During a school election, Maria posts on social media that her opponent is lazy, irresponsible, and unfit to lead, but she does not give any proof. For number 2, we have a new milk tea shop opens near your school. Their poster shows a long line of students buying drinks with a slogan, "Everyone's favorite is here, don't miss out." For number 3, we have an advertisement for a gadget says, "Experience innovation, excellence, and success with our latest technology without explaining specific features." For number 4, we have a candidate visits a community wearing simple clothes, eating with residents and saying, "I understand your daily struggle because I live just like you." And for the last number, we have a famous basketball player appears in a TV commercial promoting a brand of rubber shoes, saying it helps him perform better in games. Now, let us check your answers. Number 1, situation that is name calling. Number 2 we have is bandwagon. Number 3 is glittering generalities. Number 4 that is plain folks. And number 5 is testimonial. Great job, everyone! It seems like you really are learning how to analyze different messages. But learning does not stop in this video lesson. That is why for your assignment, you are going to find 2 propaganda from social media, TV ads, and posters. And then identify the technique and explain how it influences people. Am I clear? Very good. Before we end, let us remember this. In today's world, we are surrounded by information everywhere. Not everything we see or hear is completely true. That is why it is important to practice caution before believing or sharing anything. Always ask yourself, is this message giving me facts? Or is it trying to influence my emotions? Remember, being informed is powerful. Don't just follow, analyze. And that's our lesson for today. Again, I am Teacher Maria, reminding you, be a critical thinker, not just a follower. Thank you for watching and have a good day, everyone.